Hi, I'm Jamie Hogue, Vice President of Real Estate with AbriCreditUnion. I'm here for today's Mortgage Minutes to discuss the mortgage process, and specifically the mortgage process as it relates to buying a home. Many first-time home buyers and even people that haven't bought a house for a while are confused as to the process, and I'd like to help explain from beginning to end what to expect. The first step is pre-approval. You definitely want to be pre-approved before you buy a house. As far as more information regarding a pre-approval, we already covered a video on that. Please see below for a link. But once you have the pre-approval, you want to find a house that you like, and with an agent or whoever you're working with, you want to put an offer in. Once the offer is accepted by the sellers, you're now under contract to buy that house. Once we have the information from that contract as far as subject property, address, how much the purchase price is, and some other key details, we're able to generate an application and now discuss what the current interest rates are, lock in potentially the rate for you, and start the paperwork. As far as the application itself, we can send everything for e-signature, we can have you pick it up at a branch, or you can meet with one of us to go over it. Those are the different options we're going to present to you, as well as the rate. Once we have the signed application and the documents we've requested, which usually involve income and assets, W-2s, pay stubs, tax returns, 1099s, as well as any bank statements, retirement statements, or gift funds, or however you're receiving money for closing. Once we have all that documentation and the executed application and disclosures, we package it up with your credit report and many other documents, and we send it to underwriting. Underwriting will take a few days to look at it. Once they do, they usually issue a conditional approval. The conditional approval is what I like to call the roadmap to victory. It's going to clearly lay out the things that we need to provide underwriting before you're issued a clear to close. Those things usually consist of, the main things are homeowner's insurance, which you'll need to obtain at some point before you can get a clear to close. You need a title work, which the sellers are going to provide, so not much you have to worry about that. A lot of times we'll need an appraisal, which is something we order and you pay for. And then there's other things that maybe we may have missed, a pay stub, page 2 of a bank statement, whatever else, but they're going to clearly tell us all the different things that they need, so that we can get you to a clear to close. So once we order the appraisal with your permission, once we get all this other documentation from you and the sellers and whoever else, and we submit everything to underwriting over the course of a few weeks, however long it takes, and they review everything, if they approve everything and they don't recondition us for something else, we now have the official clear to close designation. And what that means is we're done. We now just need to set up the closing. So at that point, we tell all the parties involved that we're clear to close and that they can schedule. One of the agents or attorneys will get back to us and let us know when the closing is set for, what date, time, and location. At that point, we put together what's called a closing disclosure. The closing disclosure is a document that's going to help lay out your interest rate, your payment, your loan amount, and the costs involved. At that time, the costs are still estimated, because it's not until generally the day or two before closing that they're finalized, as we do have to balance those figures with the sellers and title company. But once those figures are done, we'll have a better idea of what you need for closing. But as far as the initial closing disclosure, that has to be signed and dated at least 3 business days before closing per the CFPB. So once that's signed and dated, 3 business days later, you can close. We'll get a final figure for you. Once you have that, you want to make sure you have your ID, you have your funds for closing, whether it's cashier's check or wire if it's over $50,000, and a copy of your homeowner's insurance. You go to closing, expect to be there for 45 minutes to an hour, and once everything's done and signed and everything looks good and we approve funding, you have your official congratulations, here are the keys. So that's the mortgage process in a nutshell, as far as getting pre-approved right till getting the keys to the house. If you ever have any questions at all throughout the entire process, feel free to give us a call, or about the process, at 815-409-4848, or you can email me in my department at mortgage@abricu.com. Thank you so much for your time.